Upon hearing the release of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it made me realise that all the Pokemaniacs out there love a good remake. Pokemon Yellow came from Red and Blue, Crystal came from Gold and Silver, Emerald came from Ruby and Sapphire, Fire Red and Leaf Green came from Red and Blue, Platinum came from Diamond and Pearl, and now Heart Gold and Soul Silver are coming from Gold and Silver. What's next? A remake of a remake? Pokemon Soul Leaf Green? Well, if any Pokemon game deserves a remake, it's Gold and Silver, as many people believe these games to be the best in the series. But should you bother with the remake, or should you get out the old Game Boy and just stick with the originals? Any Pokemon fan should know the drill by now. You play as a kid who sets off across the world of Pokemon, catching critters and training and battling them against other trainers across the land to become a Pokemon Master. The game follows the same exact path as Gold and Silver, with a few new characters and things to do here and there. These moments help keep the game fresh, as whenever you come across a moment like this, you think to yourself, that wasn't in the original. Battles haven't changed a bit, as they control exactly the same way as Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. The touchscreen is used a lot in this game, as the only moment you can't use it is when you're moving. It would have been nice to have the option to move with the touchscreen, perhaps something similar to Phantom Hourglass. I especially liked how box management can now be done via the stylus. Battles are noticeably slower than they were in Gold and Silver, as more time is spent on flashier graphics and battle animations, and this contributed to the rather slow-paced battle system. But due to the game's healthy pace, this didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. In terms of difficulty, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are easy early on and get harder by the time you reach the 8th gym. Of course, the game can be easier depending on how much grinding you do, and I believe this freedom you're given is the reason why Pokemon games are so successful and enjoyable. Only Pokemon from the first and second generation make an appearance in the major part of the game, but this didn't bother me at all. In fact, I found it preferable, as 400 odd is getting a bit too much for me now. This goes back to a time where catching them all was a little bit more tolerable. There's not really much to say about the games themselves, as to put it bluntly, they would be the twins of Pokemon Pearl and Silver if they got it off. It's the Pokewalker that has people interested though. The device is bundled with the games, and it acts as a good way to incorporate Pokemon into your daily life. The screen's a bit dated and you can only train your Pokemon one level at a time, but it is fun to use. I just can't imagine the more adult players of Pokemon going around in public with a Pokeball pedometer on their waist. But who am I to talk? I now know a lot of adults still play Pokemon, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver is really directed towards those who played the original back in 2000. So basically, the games are directed at me and my age range. Of course, the most notable change from the originals is the updated visuals. The games use the same graphics that Diamond, Pearl and Platinum use, and the game does look good indeed. It is quite nice to see how locations from Gold and Silver have been updated. I still wish the games looked better, but if they did, it's likely they wouldn't be compatible with Diamond and Pearl. Pokemon still slide into battle, and the cries are still those of the Game Boy era. The music is very pleasant to listen to though. Familiar tunes have been updated with extra melodies and instruments, and this goes very well with the game's updated look. If you're a big Pokemon fanatic, you will love Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The games are very wise purchases, and since you have both Johto and Kanto to explore, you could be playing for 100 hours plus. If you've never played a Pokemon game before, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are very solid entries for your Pokemon game collection. The games don't do much new though, so if you don't like Pokemon games, these games will not change your mind. For the rest of you, I can safely say that Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the strongest DS entries for Pokemon, and are very enjoyable experiences from start to untold finish. I'm going to give Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver for the Nintendo DS a 9.5 out of 10.